Hey guys, Memes here. With the whole social media summit going on this afternoon, I listened into some of President Trump's latter half remarks, as well as I listened to Mr. Timothy Poole's video. And with all the stuff going on, I'm kind of curious: is there really a systemic bias? Because according to many, there does appear to be, at least based upon their experience. Um, Now, is it specifically that, or is it just operating within the rules of the game we have at play here? Because I really do think a lot of this comes down to the sheer fact that on a lot of these social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, whether it's the YouTubes or whatnot, essentially they rely on community policing. What do I mean by that? Basically, if something is offensive, it breaks the terms of service, whatever it might be, it is on the community to specifically report it. And I've been on a lot of more leftist streams and whatnot, spoken with folks, and they are very open that if they see something that they believe violates the terms of service, even if it doesn't, if they believe it does, they'll report it. And they do seem to be quite open about that. Whereas if you're on more of a rightist stream or a channel or something like that, that literally seems to be blasphemy. Because, I mean, we remember the whole Mr. Mundane Matt situation there, and it was something that had happened to him. It was something he got a lot of notoriety for, and a lot of people supported him after that because essentially he was unjustly, again, according to a number of folks there, you can argue that. Personally, I believe in fair use. Basically, he was persecuted, thereby he was elevated. But then when it was found out he was doing a form of persecuting again, basically doing something that was against the general principles, or that's something that I've kind of taken away, a lot of more rightish folks, they believe that reporting is wrong. Why do they say that? Because of free speech. And I'll be straight up, like, I'm not a big fan of reporting, folks. That's my choice. Those aren't, however, the rules of the game. Because if you're going to play the game and you have one side heavily filing reports or strikes or something, whatever they believe is within the parameters of said game, doesn't that explain if one side is playing via the rules and the other side doesn't agree on the rules and they're not necessarily playing, does that explain a lot of it? So I figured, okay, let's just do a very generalized side-by-side comparison because I believe in memetics and stuff. So, yeah, OG memes and stuff. Side-by-side, this is the... So essentially what we're going to do is I search social media bias on the Googles and on the Bings here. So let's take a look at what comes up. Let's just do a quick analysis, see what we got here. All right. So for Google, when we first start searching social media bias, what comes up? All right, you got some scholarly articles. Social media and fake news in the 2016 election. And this is by a individual by the referenced Alcott. And that's been cited 1,507 times. Framing bias, media in the distribution of power, Entman. I think a lot of times I would probably consider that to be a bit more of a left-wing source. Again, I don't know. This is an op-ed. Take it for what it's worth. An effect of social distance and perceived media bias. All right, and that's cited by 91. That's the initial thing that comes up out of approximately 220 million results. All right, let's go to Bing. Over on the Bings here, what we got for social media? Ooh, that's actually a cool little emblem. Not that you can tell I'm not a big Bing user. But all right, we come up with U by Cortex works to overturn the social media bias their products were up against and create incredibly popular and well-received social brand. In order to do so, they first had to admit there was a bias and then create and execute a campaign designed to combat that bias directly. That kind of reminds me of Domino's. You got the CEO coming out, it's like, listen, we realize our pizza wasn't always that great. We've taken steps to fix it. And you want to know what? I've had Domino's pizza before that. Sometimes it was amazing. Other times it was terrible. The big thing is right now, they are a heck of a lot more consistent. Company said it was going to do something. They admit to some fault. And you know what? They help make it right. And I think that's what a lot of folks look for. Unfortunately, within politics and especially seemingly more nowadays, maybe we're just more aware of it via always being connected via the internet and 24-hour news channels, that we do all have bias, and we all seem to take a great deal of schadenfreude within seeing the other side get WTF pwned. Hey, I'm still a gamer. I may not be actively doing what I consider real gaming right now, but still a gamer at heart, guys. So, essentially, this appears to be a Brick Marketing Blog. All right, so they're basically giving a case study there. We have scholarly articles on Google. Let's go down. Top stories. All right. So what we get for top stories? All right. So Bing News, side by side. All right. The number one is from the Washington Post, approximately about 20 or so minutes ago. You can see more or less the same title. Trump accuses social media companies of terrible bias at White House summit, decried by critics. Number two article, we do have a differentiation here. Trump claims social media bias as he praises conservatives for using the platform. That's from the Hartford Courant, approximately 7 minutes ago now. And that's on the Googs, on the Bings. We have terrible media bias. Donald Trump rails against conservative censorship on social media. So as we can see, that's from USA Today, approximately 10 hours ago. Their little snippet below. Washington, President Donald Trump welcomes supportive social media users to the White House on Thursday to complain about alleged political, and they probably go on there. Then the third one, on the Googles, Twitter outage strikes amid White House social media summit. According to Political. Interesting. So you're going to have folks calling me, oh my God, nobody wanted to be able to comment here or there. Could also be potential DDoS attack. I'm not sure how many low orbit ion cannons may or may not have been charging at that time. I'm sure we'll hear if that was or was not the case, as well as speculation, as well as, oh, the president's having a social media summit. Oh, the president is legitimately the tweeter-in-chief. Oh, maybe a lot of folks are using, and then poor Jack Dorsey's servers are going, oh my God, please give us a break. I might be blowing up people's ears. I'm looking at my input right there. I might have to modify some of the volume of this little video, but let's go on. Let's check to see what comes up next. Excuse me. I didn't do the third article here. All right. So according to the Bings, think tank attending Trump's social media summit calls on conservatives to fight liberal bias. Here's the thing. One of the reasons why I tend to consider myself more of a liberal individual, more of kind of like a liberal Democrat that believes in progress, is we do all have internal biases. And I mean, like a lot of that, some of that might be due to some of our nature. And a lot of that's definitely due to our lived experience. That's one of the things. We do each have our own unique life experience, and that's going to inform how we see the world based upon the situation at a given time. And one of the big things I take away is that whole, all right, as long as you can admit to that, and you know what? My thing that gets me is when folks just start forcing it on people. And this is my big thing with, I don't care if it's left-leaning, I don't care if it's right-leaning. Here's the thing. Everyone loves to buy. Nobody likes to be sold. If you're shoving something down someone's throat saying, you're doing this because of this or that, here's the thing. Even if that is correct, if you're coming at somebody in an aggressive manner, it's like, really? 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 Do you think that is going to work? If you're trying to convince someone of an idea or actually have a conversation with them, guess what? You can do that. There doesn't need to be animus just because we disagree. I'm stealing that word from Jon Stewart's Rally to Restore Sanity about 10 years ago, and I like that. We don't have to be this way. So let's just continue on. Just get a quick little roundup here. So according to the Googles, the social media bias on Twitter, we get some individuals here. They're saying, at this big White House event on alleged social media bias, Trump praises freshman Republican Senator Hawley, it looks like from Montana for this, or excuse me, maybe even Missouri. Oh my God, I'm terrible with state abbreviations. My apologies for misstating if I am. Very important legislation on the topic. The backstory. All right, then we get Alex Kantorowicz. The media bias accusations began at the social media summit. These claims are meant to drive fear into Facebook, Google, and Twitter so they don't remove conservative content that violates their rules. Spoke with the @Squawk CNBC about the... Okay, so here's a quick thing about social media. Let's face it, when this first started to come about, and a lot of times, especially if you couldn't get necessarily your name because someone else did it first, what'd we do? We create cool nicknames and stuff and things for us. Now let's take a step back for a second. All these different aliases, which, oh my god, an email is now, it's literally now an alias. Is this what you got to do? If you got to list your previous aliases? Because I remember there were forums that used to list your aliases, and you'd be like, oh, what is that? Is that the name that I used in Columbus, Ohio 16 years ago? Hey, Tommy Vassetti here. Grand Theft Auto 3 was an amazing game. Sorry. Hashtag gamer. But we create all these different aliases, and it's almost like it literally is. We're putting on the mask of the internet here. And a lot of folks are anonymous. Some of us are. Some of us aren't. Some of us show our faces. Some of us don't. And you know what? That's your choice. But I think a lot of times when we put on these different facades, these masks, if you would, a lot of the times what ends up happening is we almost become the character. It's like Superman with glasses is Clark Kent. He's mild-mannered. He's a journalist that works for the Daily Planet. But when he takes off those glasses, oh, he's a frickin' man of steel. Batman, and again, that's more of an inverse equation, but you get somebody like Batman, Bruce Wayne. It's like, all right, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist, DC version of Iron Man. But when he puts on the mask and he lowers his voice several octaves, he's a form of a caped crusader. Or is that Superman? Anyways, so basically what the Googles has, they got high traction, I'm assuming, tweets on the Twitters. And then, if we go down to the Bings, what do we got? Social media bias, Theotrade. I have no idea what that is, but that's a November 2016 article, Social Media Bias. This is another misunderstanding of reality. The media has already lost. Seeing the election results was just an updated score of a game that ended years ago. According to Business Insider, only 6% of Americans have a lot of trust in the media. This shows how out of touch the media is with its viewers. I really think this is one of the reasons why Fox News does so very well, and I think this is also another reason why a lot of more conservative and right-leaning YouTube channels have done extremely well. I think it's just basic supply and demand. If a lot of the media, in general, is a bit more left-leaning, it's a bit more progressive, I do think to an extent that is very important because we want to be exposed to new ideas and stuff so we can see if there's a following behind it. I mean, that is part of like the whole free market capitalism. If you see something that's new and exciting, you're going to have your early adopters. You're going to have other folks that get in. Heck, I mean, I remember when I used YouTube before Google even bought it. I resurrected my own account. I still got like 19 subscribers on it. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Hey, it is what it is. But I think if a lot of the media generally is a bit more progressive, and you know what, even if that's a good thing, we still got tens of millions of folks of a more conservative nature in our country that are looking for sources on different stories and stuff like that that maybe aren't getting covered. I truly believe news is best digested having a balanced diet of it because you want to get perspectives of perhaps the same issue from other folks. And you know what? There are going to be some stories that go in and out of different news groups that you might not even hear about that you might actually really care about. And that is the power of the internet. We can seek that out, but unfortunately we end up usually consuming what we like because, let's face it, with a choice between an apothecary and a candy man, candy usually tastes a whole heck of a lot better than medicine, so we like our candy. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the healthiest thing for us. So I'm going through this, and I'm seeing different sources. And yeah, we got some videos here. We got from CNBC Television, Washington Post, conservative content creators. That seems fair because it's the same thing. Trump's unproven claims about social media giants. All right, that's from the Post. I mean, none of this really surprises me at all. Over on Bing, we have MSNBC. What is Trump trying to accomplish with his social media summit? It's a fair question because he's had a lot of big folks on. He's had Jack Dorsey. He's had, I'm pretty sure Mr. Zuckerberg, I know he's testified in front of Congress as well. And he says he's going to be having them back at some point. So the question is, Donald Trump, he's known as a negotiator. He's the negotiator in chief. That's at least how I would like to believe him. Because I've even had some quite progressive friends that are like, listen, have him negotiate, have him play hardball with some of these other countries and stuff. Domestic policy, he's terrifying people. And that is something, whether or not that is the objective case, here's the thing. A lot of people are taking it that way. And as you can see from my little Babam friend over here. There, yeah. I don't want it to all blow up in our face. And unfortunately, I think it's only a matter of time. We already have Americans hating, hurting, and killing other Americans. And that's not right. So I just wanted to take just a quick little... I realize I didn't really do that much. It was mostly me pontificating upon my digital soapbox. But I think the video's gone on long enough. Probably going to have another video here in a couple of minutes, maybe an hour, maybe tomorrow. But we'll see. Hey, guys, just remember, just get a balanced diet. Go outside once in a while. Look at a tree. Maybe give it a hug. Might do you some good. So, thanks everybody. This is Memes. Peace out.